Good evening, friends. Today we are going to talk about dividends. I thought I will not speak definitely and specifically about the various timelines. For example, these 5 days, 30 days, 37th day, 90 days, 7 years plus 30 days for transferring unclaimed dividends, and also about the shares to be transferred to IEPF. All those things, today I thought I will not touch. Let us now focus on certain few things only which are very important. Dividends are declared can be of two types. One is the dividend, another is interim dividend. Dividend includes interim dividend. Interim dividend is something which is specifically a carve out which is provided. Dividends can be declared out of the profits. In fact, if you take interim dividend can be declared out of the profits made until the quarter that precedes the date of declaration of dividend, interim dividend. And dividends could be declared out of past profits of the previous years. Dividends could be declared out of free reserves also. In fact, I want to tell about the concept of clean profits and clean free reserves. For this purpose, let us understand what is this fourth proviso under this section 123.1. It is very interesting. Fourth proviso is something which is introduced. The language of fourth proviso is no dividend shall be declared. No company shall declare dividend unless, it is important, unless carried over previous losses and depreciation not provided for in the previous year or years or set off against the profits of the company for the current year. It's a very important statement. No company shall declare dividend unless all these accumulated losses and unabsorbed depreciation are set off first. So which means already it should have been set off, or it should be set off now out of the current profits. So it's a clean profit. Another important thing with respect to clean profit is not only this fourth proviso, but also there is a proviso which is saying that in computing profits, any amount representing unrealized gains, notional gains, revaluation of assets, any change in the carrying value of assets, all these are called the bundle of things which are provided for increasing the profits on the book. But for the purpose of dividend, profits available for distribution as dividend are supposed to be, in my opinion, clean profits. All these notional, unrealized gains, revaluation, carrying value is assets are carried at a higher value. All these things would not work. All previous losses should have been provided, or depreciation should be provided. So clean profits. Let us understand clean profits as a concept. From now on, it becomes very easy now. If you are a company with clean profits, there is nothing wrong in declaring dividends. Absolutely no problem. Profits are meant for that. Of course, you would have carried the profits. Some of the profits would have been transferred to reserves. Some of the profits may not have been transferred to reserves. It will lie in surplus in the P&L account. That doesn't matter. So there are two things. One is surplus lying in the P&L account, accumulated profits we call it. And another is free reserves. For a minute, I am not talking about Schedule 3, reserves and surplus, how it is done, how surplus is added, how negative balance also should be shown under the same heading like reserves and surplus on the liability side of the balance sheet itself. I am not talking about all those things now. I am talking about a new concept called clean profits. Remove all these notional gains, unrealized gains, revaluation reserves, carrying value, and also past losses, accumulated losses, unabsorbed depreciation. Remove it. Make it simple, clean profits. Similarly, free reserves. When you talk about free reserves, also talk about only clean reserves, which does not arise out of all these items. Free reserves is a defined term. A reading of that term will explain that. Now, therefore, we understand it could be out of profits of the year for which the dividend is declared. There are two concepts here. One is the year for which the dividend is declared, that is financial year for which the dividend is declared, and the financial year in which the dividend is declared. Now, out of profits of the previous years, out of profits of the current year, or both, it should be done. I have already said that fourth proviso says it should be completely provided. Therefore, current year depreciation also should be provided is what 123 says. Therefore, completely provide for the losses and the depreciation. Now, there are small things which are supposed to be understood. In fact, in my opinion, declaration of dividend rules itself is not necessary. Interim dividend, for example, you take, it talks about interim dividend, subsection 3, 123, can be declared from what? That is important. I am not talking about the time. I am talking about from where will you draw the money for the interim dividend. This is specific. Out of the surplus in the P&L or out of profits of the financial year in which, here the word in which is used. Such interim dividend is sought to be declared, or out of the profit generated in the financial year till the quarter preceding the date of declaration of the interim dividend. Therefore, we are talking about accumulated profits, we are talking about the profits of that financial year in which the dividend is declared, and even up to the profits of the quarter immediately preceding it. Let us for a minute understand that there is a loss in the current year. Proviso says the company has incurred loss during the current financial year up to the date, up to the end of the quarter that immediately precedes the date of declaration of dividend. Let us say 4th September, interim dividend is going to be declared. Now last quarter is immediately preceding is 30th June. So up to 30th June in the quarter 1, the company has incurred losses. In that case, the average rate clause will apply. Find out what is the average rate of dividend. Ensure that the interim dividend that you declare does not exceed the rate, which is average rate of dividend declared in the 3 immediately preceding financial years. Now, the language is important. Such interim dividend shall not be declared at a rate higher than the average dividends declared by the company during the immediately preceding 3 financial years. In another aspect also, the average clause will apply. Suppose you want to declare a dividend out of free reserves. What does it mean actually? Simple. Current year we are not having profits. Therefore, we are going to see accumulated profits. That also not there. But previously you had accumulated profits and you have transferred it. So the proviso enabling clause for declaring dividend out of free reserves says, provided further owing to inadequacy or absence of profits in any financial year, any company proposes to declare dividend out of the accumulated profits earned by it in the previous years and transferred by the company to free reserves. Such declaration shall comply with the rules. Okay, straight away we need to go to the rules. Okay, what does these rules say? That's why I said this. In fact, in my opinion, such a rule is not required for declaring dividends because it's a very simple concept. We have unnecessarily created rules for that. Like subsection 3, interim dividend average clause applies by way of a proviso. One more proviso. After all, already there are 4 provisos. Why can't we add one more? We could have added. What does these rules say to declare a dividend out of free reserves? It simply says, number 1, the rate of dividend shall not exceed the average rates at which the dividend was declared by the company in the 3 years immediately preceding. Therefore, the same thing. Only thing, language is slightly different. There they have used the words higher. Here they are using shall not exceed. So language problem is there. However, chalega. Then they say the total amount to be drawn from accumulated profits. We are already talking about accumulated profits and transfer to free reserves. But the rules unnecessarily talk about drawing from the accumulated profits. The total amount to be drawn shall not exceed 10% of the paid up capital and free reserves of the company. Okay, done. I have drawn it. And thereafter, use that amount drawn or notionally just on a piece of paper for the purpose of setting off the losses incurred in the financial year in which the dividend is declared. Now, that is the current financial year, because it is talking about the year in which the dividend is declared. Now, if there are losses, suppose you draw 10% and that is 10 crore and already you have incurred more than 10 crore losses, there is no question of declaring the dividend out of free reserves at all. Then there is one more thing. What is the balance free reserves that is available? That shall not be less than 15% of the paid up share capital of the company as appearing in the last audit. See, these clauses, in my opinion, clean free reserves. All notional gains, revaluation, unrealized gains, everything is removed. Let us say we have clean profits and there are all losses are provided. Depreciation for current year also is provided. Make it as clean free reserves. No need for all these things. Probably if the lawmaker thinks that there should be prudence in corporate management, there should be some rate clause applicable, you can retain that in a proviso. Simple. After all, profits are available for distributing it as dividend. Free dividend. Distribute it. Let the board decide whether the money is required to meet the exigencies on the rainy days like pandemic or not. In my opinion, a simple thing would have been a rule for the purpose of rate clause. Whenever there is a problem in the current year, we are facing losses. Anyway, the proviso, fourth proviso is the supreme provision, which says provide everything. And current year depreciation also should be provided. Therefore, it is taken care. So, in my opinion, the entire chapter on dividend, with respect to from where you can draw money and how you should protect the interests of the shareholders as a prudent management in terms of good corporate governance, we can simplify it. That should be probably the way in which it should have been. Instead of providing too many provisos and provisions and all, it could have been a very simple task. Thank you very much.